Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my podcast, Politetori. It's been a long time. I know. I'm finally back on a brand new channel, so this is all to be just for the podcast now. So this is season 2 still, so I just want to let you know that this is pretty much it's still season 2. There's five episodes on the other channel, Jose Tapia TV. Another thing is, I didn't need to listen. I didn't. One thing is, I'm pretty sure you can listen to this on Anchor now, so you can listen to me now instead of just watching the video too. So I'm trying to get this on Apple as well. So I just submitted the podcast with the email and stuff like that. So I'll let you guys know if if I'll be available on Apple. But yeah, today we're gonna talk about Wonder Woman 1984. Obviously, we all know that this movie has been delayed for one particular reason. I'm not gonna explain it, but we're here now. The film is out. A lot of people watched it. A lot of people enjoyed it from the homes. We see Diana and Themyscira at such a young age, and she's doing this, um, not competition, but she's doing it. I guess in a way, it's competition. It's pretty much a race to the finish line in a way. It involves her doing so much acrobats and things that the other ladies and alongside Diana are doing, and she pretty much she's doing really well, and it's confronted by her mom, because she cheated on the competition, and she teaches her about the, the truth is all the truth that there is, and the truth is that she cheated, and that's why she lost. She technically almost won, but her mom stopped her because her mom saw that the unfairness that she did. It's a great way to start the film. I really enjoyed seeing how they understand why they wanted understand why Patty wanted a flashback scene. It made a lot of sense to do so. So then we come to 1984. We see we we know like it takes place in Washington D.C. A D.C. movie about a D.C. comics film in D.C. I feel like it was an appropriate place to do so, and the setting because Wonder Woman is such an American symbol. It's all like in a mall, and that's in Washington D.C. and we see that there's like these two robbers trying to steal this rock and a bunch of other things, and then we see we see Diana's intro, the way they they introduce her with a fight scene, and it was really well done. I really enjoyed it. That scene just we've seen her fight in a new style, and her techniques are really well done, and I really love how they showed more interest in seeing her abilities, and also Dao, also Princeton. We obviously can see that she loves doing this film. She loves doing she loves being Wonder Woman, because we see that whenever she fights in this film, she gives her all, and there's a lot of things that they do to make things work for her character when it comes to fighting. I just really love the way she uses the lasso of truth in this film. It was like definitely my favorite tool that she has used, and just I love the fact that you really notice that she doesn't really punch anyone or fight back. She she mostly dodges and things along the lines of that. And I mean is that she doesn't, and she learned from the first film that, that everything that's gone bad in the world isn't their fault, and that's something that she points out later in the film as well. We see that there's a lot of things going on with the when Steve gave her the watch, she has it on display like on just it's not displays too much of a display, but it's more of how she it's just on the table, uh, a drawer, on top of a drawer. We see that photos of her and then from World War One and things like that. Makes me think that she really she doesn't age. I feel like the premise of this film is really simple to understand, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I really enjoy how in this film we see that when Diana ends up holding the rock and we're introduced to Barbara, we see that they things that it's simple to understand what the characters are that we drawn throughout the film, and then but also depends on how much that goes on within the film. If they don't really if don't pick up where they left off, then it won't work. And what I mean by that is that if they the way they introduce a character, if they don't follow through with what the story is within the film, and the story within the character lost, and that will make the storyline throughout the film and the story in the film not work in some ways. I also felt that's what what happened with Barbara in this film. Okay, so here's something I want to point out. I understand why people love the film, and I also understand why people don't like the film, and I also understand why people hate the film. Because when people see a film, we see the same film, but we see them in different ways, in different points of view. So that's something that's really interesting when we look at stories and characters that we love and we're used to, and we want to understand things. So we see things in different perspectives, and that's not a bad thing, of course. So I didn't. So I don't personally understand if people just don't like the film and call it trash and stuff like that. It's understandable if they say it in a respectful way, saying I like the I like the film, but it's not for me. The film is alright, but it's not for me. Type thing. But for me, for this film particularly, I enjoyed the film, but I honestly enjoyed it because of Diana Prince, the character. She's the reason why I enjoyed this film. I feel like, particularly for her character, the direction was really well done, and I really enjoyed how they it shows a lot of strengths of her character. There was like the scene where she was in the way. Let me start with Steve first. With Diana and Steve, it made sense why she is who she is now. We see her that she doesn't want to move on, but she ends up having. We know that she may have to, because in in in, in movies like these, they have like a formula where they keep on doing it. The certain formula. I'm not saying it's predictable or repetitive. What I'm saying is there has to be like a structure or story within that for it to work. And I felt like we should see that she will have to, and because of the fact that we also saw her in Justice League, and she's now with Steve in Justice League, we know obviously know that she will have to give him up somehow throughout this film, and so that's one particular thing that it's pretty much it's not a spoiler, but it's more of a we know what happened, we know the outcome of it, but we don't know the reason because of the outcome, and then we find out why did she have to renounce her wish, and she has to. But before she did, she had to. She enjoyed her time with Steve. She really loved the way the ideas that she loved about Steve. There's, I felt like there was a certain things that she wanted to say to him, but didn't. I really enjoyed seeing how he saw the new world and his new world, pretty much. How he saw. He said we see things that we're used to and that Diana's used to now in her time period in 1984, and it's so futuristic for Steve. So it's insane how the fact that it makes you think what happens if that happened like in her Justice League era where Steve came back in that era, how things would be so futuristic for him. Yeah. I thought as the camera was went out in time. But anyways, I was talking about I was talking about how Steve wanted to, how things are futuristic for Steve and her time, Diana's time that she is used to, and um, one thing that I didn't like about Steve being in this film is how that the body that he uses has like to see have a life, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have spoke about this already, but the fact that what if he has another job, or what if he has to, what if the person Steve took over has a job, or what if they had to his own his own missions in life. Other people, it's weird people saw Steve, but they didn't see Steve except Diana, and I'm pretty sure I didn't Maxwell a lot, and that Barbara knew of Steve too. That didn't make sense. That didn't really explain that as well. Which is it looked like it did. It looked like Barbara and Max they could see Steve, but not the other guy. That's something I wish they would have addressed more in this film. Diana and Barbara, I feel like I feel like those two characters are similar when they're laid back but Barbara wants to be like a better version of Diana. She wants to be just like her, and then when she sees her as Wonder Woman, she feels like it's a lot more, and she sees Diana as much more, and that's what makes Barbara want to be even more overpowered in a way that didn't really work for her. And what I mean by that is that she just wants to defeat Diana. She wants to take Diana down so Barbara to rise up and become better and become powerful, is what I meant to say. So and then when she fought, the one thing I did like was when Diana and Barbara were fighting in the White House, and we see we saw her pretty much defeated, and she looked vulnerable, and I felt like that's when I really loved the film more, when we see a superhero we look up to that's flawed and has we see her weakness as well. I feel like every amazing I feel like every superhero we look up to has needs to have strength and weaknesses as well, and that's not weaknesses doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It means that they find their ways around things. If there's a superhero that doesn't have any weaknesses, then how is that gonna work for the other characters and stories and things along the lines of that? So Barbara was trying to level up with Diana. She wanted to take Diana down so Barbara can become the better version of what she thinks Diana is. At first, I was in the show Superdog, there was a character called Maxwell Lord. I was thinking about maybe comparing him as well, but I lost interest because I feel like this film we saw Maxwell become his own person. We see Pedro Pascal really made the character really stand out more better than the character in Superdog did, and I felt like I didn't really see him I didn't see Barbara or Max as a villains or, uh, or bad guys. I've seen them as characters that want something, and Diana and Steve happens to be the opposite role and they're in the way pretty much, and that's why I felt like I seen it. So that's how I see it. I don't see them as bad guys or Maxwell. I feel like I don't understand why he wanted to do what he wanted to do. When it comes to let's put his kid to the side, like, what would stop him from doing? What would stop him from? Why is he doing this? Why is he doing this for? Is he doing this for himself? And I feel like that's something that they do really address in this film, but it's not the way they did and didn't really fit in a way. But when they bring the when they involve when this film involves his kid, then there's like a little bit of motivation or backbone to like really show how the character really works. And what I mean by that is how they show what Max wants in this film. He wants everyone to have their wishes come true, and then that's the idea of that. It could work, but technically speaking, it could work. What I mean by that is that basically what I'm saying is the idea of it's like really long pace. It's the idea of that is it will take long for it to work, longer than a film in a way. Because if Matt wants to do what he wants to do, then he will have to talk to other characters, so many other characters along the way, and we see him do portion of that when he was in his office and he has all the his clients want to have he pretty much grants everyone's wishes in a way, and I'm surprised one wish didn't correspond with the other in 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 a dangerous way until Max made it that way. And when Maxwell did the television thing in the end of the film, you only work with people who have television and radio. Anyone worked so well, so who knows how that worked. But I'll give it a pass because I understand that that's a little difficult to do. So the fact that they had to move quickly with that, I understand why they did that, and it's not the film's fault I understand that it have to not be realistic in a way for it to make sense in a way. The way that I said about how they treated Maxwell in this film, Max Lord in this film, and did you see Maxwell, Max Lord, and Barbara as villains? Did you or bad guys, or do you see him as someone else? Do you guys? Something I really liked about this film was the the invisible jet scene. That was amazing. I really loved that scene where she turned the jet invincible. The fireworks. The film sometimes has it feels cinematic at some point, and then doesn't, and just basically what I'm saying is it didn't felt it didn't felt it felt it felt off at times if I noticed that, but that's just me. I definitely love the part with her flying. I really enjoyed how they showed her flying abilities. It was really relaxing to see, and I really enjoyed that. One of my favorite parts of the film for sure. I, the way she flew like Superman, it reminded me of that. So yeah, I really love that. I'm pretty sure a lot of people did too. So, what's your favorite part of the film? Let me know in the comments below if you guys want to share that with everyone else. So Matt Lord is mostly doing this for his company, Black Gold, and I feel like I wish we were seen a little bit more of what that company does. I felt like Matt Lord wanted to just have it as a thing. He treated that Black Gold was just a thing. It didn't feel like a company. It felt like it was just something he wanted to be more powerful, but I didn't really explain the deep detail of what the company is really, what it does, besides just make fine oil, pretty much. I wrote down her and Just Lead. We get to understand her now because of what she has been through and what she's learned in the film. So basically, what I'm saying is, when we watched this film and then we drove back and watched Justice League, which is her future, we get to understand her the way she talks to Bruce, and that Paul Justice League where she's talking about when they're inside the back cave. We get to understand why she is now. We get to understand her a little bit more and why she is who she is. We pretty much get to see how that she's been through a lot within the two movies that three other movies that we've seen her, and so I think that's one thing that this film does, as a lot of other films that she's been in, is that we get to see her character really grow, and we just see that we understand why she is who she is. So something that I think about is this film better than the first? I would say yes, but not 100%. I feel like it's. I feel like it. I feel like for this film, the film made sense for just just Diana, just the main character. It worked for her particularly, but I feel like for the other characters in this film, it didn't really like, work well. But characters, the storyline point, it was simple. It wasn't too extreme. Where in Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman, we see her having a mission and being part of World War II. It made sense to do so. It made sense on why that film is better. We see her having a real mission and having something that she has to go through. One thing that I didn't like about Barbara was when the fact that she turned to Sheeta out of nowhere, and they didn't really explain it or show it. That it felt like is that she made a third wish where we didn't see. So I just didn't understand why they didn't show us that. But overall, yeah, this is it for the episode. So what did I think about Wonder Woman 1984? Did you love it? Would you watch it again if you already saw it? What's something that you love about Diana more after watching this film? Do you feel like she has learned more about herself? Did you feel like you learned more about her? Do you feel like she's learning more about herself in that film? I feel like in a way she did. Pretty sure you can listen to this episode on Anchor. So if you have the Anchor app, you can check out Spoiler Territory or Spoiler Territory podcast. I'll leave in the link. I'll leave a link down below. So yeah. I also have a Facebook group as well, where you talk about other films that I discuss as well. I finally made a video on this channel, so in a way I have 5 channels that have videos now. Thank you for watching, everybody. Please subscribe for more. Thank you all for listening or watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.